It started with a vision for how the internet should work, how it could work.
It really should be possible for anyone to just kind of wave their hand and carve out a piece of cyberspace and create a world of their own.
But the technology to achieve such a vision simply did not exist.
There's no way that you can have really high throughput and also have all these security and fairness properties. I was able to convince myself it's not possible. And I set it aside, and it would come back and haunt me, and it would keep nagging at me. And so I would pick it up again and set it aside again. And this kept going for years.
3 years later, Lehman had a breakthrough, the hashgraph consensus algorithm. In 2015, Manson Lehman founded Swirlds to battle-test the algorithm in private permissioned environments. And the following year, Lehman published a technical paper. But in order to realize the vision of a fairer, more secure digital future for all, the world needed a trust layer, a public ledger built on Hashgraph.
Okay, it looks like we are down to the final seconds here.
3, 2, 1. Open access.
The network is open. As of this moment, we have council member nodes online, ready to take transactions from anyone, anywhere in the world.
Since open access, Hedera has witnessed exponential growth on the network, with billions of real-world transactions, hundreds of applications, and tens of thousands of ecosystem developers. The Hedera Council has gone from strength to strength, growing to 29 members on 6 continents, stewarding the network responsibly and ensuring its longevity for generations to come. Hello, future.
Fermin, you are muted.
Sorry, I was muted. It's my first time doing this, so you might understand. Hello, everyone, and hello, future. Today's sessions lands in a perfect moment. Hedera has entered a new era. You might have seen the news. Hedera has a fresh identity. The HBAR Foundation is now the Hedera Foundation. The Hedera Governing Council is now the Hedera Council, and Hedera itself, still remains the trust layer of the digital economy, open, public, and ready to grow. You can read more at hedera.com. In our blog, we are going to share the link here for you to deep dive on this news, but they are exciting news, and we are happy to see what's happening in our ecosystem. And speaking of building, of evolving, today we are joined by 3 amazing projects doing just that, making our ecosystem grow. HBAR Suite, Bonzo Finance, and Dovu. And I'm really pleased to be here doing this for the first time because I'm a huge fan of their work and happy to discuss and chat with them about what they are doing. So thank you very much for joining us. We are still waiting for Bonzo Finance, but he just wrote me that he's going to join in a minute. So let's kick. Do you want first to present ourselves, or and then we could follow up? No. So let's start with HBAR Suite team, please.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks a lot for having us here. This is Tapachi speaking, one of the co-founders of HBAR Suite, and alongside me we have our CTO and co-founder as well, Tomás Chanura, and also Luis Lemos, who's a treasury committee on the community side of things, and also part of the H Suite corporate on the enterprise side of things.
Well, Irfan, how about you and Dovu?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, thanks for having me here. Really excited to be here on this day as well with a new rebrand, and let's just hope that's an extra little kick that that our whole sort of ecosystem need. I'm the CEO, founder of Dovu, and we've been building on Hedera for a number of years now. So yeah, happy to share where we are and where our future lays.
Well, thank you, Irfan. Well, let's kick off with HbarSuite, if you're okay with that. So there's been a lot happening, and if you are part of our community on HbarSuite community, you have seen that a lot has been changing, and they have evolved their product a lot. So maybe you can offer to the community an update of what are the recent launches on the ecosystem, or how the community can join the HbarSuite ecosystem, etc. You have opened it.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the introduction. Well, one of the most recent updates that I can speak a little bit about to the Hedera community, generally speaking, is that we have HbarSuite is known for like our smart node technology, which is basically a replacement of smart contracts, and our community has been waiting for some time for the release of a smart node v2. And as a matter of fact, we just recently announced that our smart node v2 alpha is actually dropping, and it's dropping this upcoming week. It's really exciting because what basically means is that we will be live on Hedera testnet this upcoming week, and we will have at the beginning, since it's an alpha and we have still a lot of work to do related to several different factors, which I'm not going to get into that right now. Inside this alpha, basically what we'll be having is 3 smart nodes online, which is basically enough power to kickstart serious testing, also for developers. A developer faucet as well, which there will be basically a portal, what we will call the HSuite portal, which will allow developers to basically mint NFT subscription. Because the way that the Smart Node v2 will work for like developers that wish to build smart application with our network is that you will need NFT subscription, which will be taken into account related to HTTP calls and to interact with the network. That's like the baseline for the v2 basically, because we want HSuite to be in one way gas for our smart node network, but at the same time we have found a more efficient and brilliant way in order to indirectly utilize HSuite for this purpose for developers, which is through the NFT. And the way that it will work eventually, when we go to mainnet especially, is that a developer who wishes to build their own smart app, like a launchpad, a DEX, or basically anything related to DeFi, they will have to purchase a NFT subscription, which will give them like a set number of HTTP calls. And to do so, they will have to pay this NFT in HSuite. It's really cool because there is also with this v2 architecture, there is also a tokenomics v2, which where basically I'll just keep it short for now, but then we can go maybe into details later. Where basically when the user or the developer will pay with this HSuite will basically get burned. So this will basically kickstart a deflationary tokenomics for our token. And well, regarding the alpha, we have, as I said, the smart nodes on 3 smart nodes. The HSuite portal will also have documentation and sample code and tutorials. And also, like the v2 is important to say also that the smart node v2 by default will also come with an IPFS node. Also smart node design snapshots to guarantee that the snapshots are authentic in terms of like for basically whatever use case you may want to have in terms of snapshots, usually related to like DAO, voting, and all those types of things. And so it's really nice because we will see. We had a lot of feedback in this past time, like from developers that were like really excited and are like on a line to like start developing with us. And the call to action that we had for this is that for all those interested into start building with the smart nodes, they can join. We have a dedicated channel into our Discord for all the details in order to start drafting their own smart app. And we're really excited and looking forward to everything that will be coming from this experience.
Awesome, really awesome, Salot, what you're covering, and you have to do it in a brief time because we have to run here, but it's amazing to listen to that. Please send me the Discord invitation. I will share it within our channels.
Sure.
And so how do you see HBAR Suite role evolving as our ecosystem? So you mentioned about the developers building on top of this technology, but how do you see which will be the role that HBAR Suite will achieve within our ecosystem?
Yeah, so it's nice because if we speak, Luis, you want to go ahead? I'll give you the word.
No, it's just a point here. I'm not a developer, so sometimes it's easier to talk about from a perspective from people that is not developing code. And so when I saw the guys doing the job, programming and coding using the smart nodes, it's very simple. And this is the main goal here. We need to simplify and we need to give access to TypeScript developers to build their applications using smart nodes. They will use Web3 without all the burden of knowing a new language like Solidity. And our main goal is to spread and make things easier to new developers and to onboard a lot of these new developers to Hedera and to Web3 in general. So this is our main goal here as a project for make the Web3 more accessible.
Awesome.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I want to add to what you just said is that one of the most important things that the V2 will bring in terms of adoption is that we made the architecture so that basically eventually there can be libraries that are made like SDKs made in Python or basically any language that supports HTTP calls. So imagine that basically any language with HTTP calls, eventually developers will be able to basically interact and build a smart application that way. And that's a huge plus and advantage because that could potentially bring into the Hedera ecosystem a lot more developers because with the smart contracts you have like usually like 1-2 languages like use Rust or Solidity, and there is like a learning curve in that, and that can slow things down. But when you present like on a silver plate something that could be easily accessible and easily buildable, it can be very, very appealing as well.
Interesting, amazing to hear that. So Tomachi, do you have something to add? You're the CDO now in HBAR Suite.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah, I think the guys have been saying a lot. I'm just very excited to be launching the V2 finally. It's going to be on a permissioned model right now because we want to be sure Hedera can support us with the non-deprecation policy, so to avoid redeploying smart nodes. But apart from this detail, it's all very ready and settled, and we've been already deploying many smart apps on the enterprise side of things because it's easier. It's a more controlled environment. So actually, we have a couple of smart apps running already since many months, like ICAD, which is verified credentials engine. That is facilitating virtual credential for students in Malaysia. It's backed by the Malaysian government. and also Banqua, which is a virtual bank. They are both running with smart apps and rely on private smart node networks. So it's pretty exciting now that we are going finally like into the public to see how developers will react and what their creativity can bring on the table, you know. So exciting times ahead.
Thank you very much for that. So making easy the path for developers will impact in the real use cases and apps on our ecosystem. So that's amazing. So let me say thank you very much for that, HbarSuite team, and let me say hi to Gaurang. How are you? And to the community, please do not hesitate on making your questions. We are leaving for the end some space for community questions. And well, we can now jump to Irfan and Dovu, another amazing project, and I think that we have also a short time and a lot to cover. So please, Irfan.
Well, the good thing about it is that I'm not a developer, so the words will be a lot smaller, and maybe I'll get a lot covered. I'm not saying they'll be any clearer to the community, but I won't go into areas that I know nothing about. Otherwise, I'll get a nosebleed if I get sort of too deep into the sort of technical side of the business. We have a fantastic sort of co-founder, technical founder in Matt Smithies, who's our CTO, and he's an absolute diamond, and I leave all the technical stuff to him. So just some background on Dovu, really. We just very quickly, we've been in the Hedera space for some time now. We moved over our project from Ethereum onto Hedera because you couldn't build a ecological sort of environmental project on Ethereum and keep a straight face at that point. So you really needed to choose a sort of a platform and a protocol that suited. And we moved over, and it's been fantastic for us. It's been a long road. Because basically what we've tried to develop is an audit trail and a trust layer for environmental ecological assets globally, from the initiation of a project. That could be planting trees, it could be sort of enriching the soil, whatever. From an ecological perspective, we go straight to the project developers themselves from that perspective. And then we enable them to sort of create digital representations of that carbon on Hedera. And the challenge with that is not technical, the challenge with that is commercial, because ultimately what the project wants to do is sell their credits. So, where's the track record on any blockchain, frankly, or any sort of, DLT that sort of proves that actually there's a value in doing that as opposed to doing something that they did before. So and in reality, they don't care about the technology. They just want the money in for the projects that they're developing. And that's exactly correct. So, we've taken years, frankly, to get to a point where we now have trust, with project developers. They are beginning to understand that the world, everything is going to be digital. Their projects have to be found via a digital interface. So when a corporate wants to buy 30 million tons of carbon, they will search for that via a digital interface. They're not going to send an email to somebody or call them up and say, hey, mate, have you got 30 million tons of carbon for sale? But also the pricing element of carbon is so abstract. So you need the digital element of it for price discovery. You need to have it very open and transparent. You need to have all of the elements in these projects that are auditable. So to build trust. So that's what we've been building, and it's taken a long time, much to some people's frustration and ours. But one thing, actually, just before coming on this call, we just agreed our biggest ever deal. It's taken us sort of 2 years to sort of go through, and it is a tens of $1 million deal for Dovu. and involving millions of acres of land, agricultural land, which is going to be enriched across the USA and Australia. And it's really exciting. So we'll do proper announcements when we've got all the sign off, all the PR and everything else. But it's real validation of what it is that we're doing, and all of this is going to be minted on Hedera and minted on our platform. So really excited about that. Just finally, just really quickly as well, one thing that we discovered was as we were building this trust layer on top of Hedera, and there were different methodologies coming to us with different workflows, Matt basically and the team sat down and we said, right, let's create a really, really simple sort of layer called Dovu OS, where you can spin up a workflow in minutes and you can deploy that on chain on Hedera. So the idea that anybody wants to do a proof of concept, within the Hedera Council, as it is now, not governing council, they can spin up a proof of concept in a very, very short period of time, because we've got the whole layer sort of in place. And when you combine that with AI as well, in terms of a workflow generator with a domain-specific language that Matt and the team have created, we can get things moving on our platform really, really quickly. So, years of work is now, I think, coming to sort of fruition.
Awesome, Irfan. I have a personal question, because I've been follower of what you've been doing. So I'm now here. I collaborate with HBAR. I'm dev relations. I'm part of the community. I always say this because I started in 2020 following Hedera, and I'm the guy behind HBAR Latam account. So I've been trying to spread awareness in Latin America. So the first time I step on Dovu, I can't avoid relation Dovu with sustainability and carbon credits, because that's what the first idea. But I think you created something that, with the maturity of the entire market in terms of regulation, because for those who do not know, from my background, I'm a lawyer, so I understand a lot in terms of regulation of our ecosystem. And you can see that real-world asset tokenization is now a reality, and what you created, I think that it's more wider than only sustainability or carbon credit. That it's a lot, of course, but if you can, yes. The question was, how do you shift this relation with carbon credit with your product with the tool that you have built for different verticals? That's the point.
Yeah, that's a good one. So it comes from the simple premise where we wanted to engage the world's sort of the world in our sort of ecological platform. And what I mean by that is it could be a rice farmer in India, it could be a sheep farmer in Wales. They could have small amounts of land, they could have small projects. So how do they engage in this economy, this sort of carbon economy? Well, what you need to do is you need to use technology to onboard them fast. You need to use technology and words that they understand in order to create project documents, project initiation documents, and all the other elements that sort of go with it. Now, of course, with with AI moving on so quickly, we can start to use that. They can start to use natural language and create technical documentation that can be then used within the infrastructure that we have to create these trust layers. So the logical conclusion of that is, well, why is that just environmental and ecological? Why isn't that any workflow, any methodology? Why isn't that, it could be absolutely any workflow that can be digitized, that can be a trust and audit trail sort of placed there. And technology is the enabler of that. And that's what the sort of Dovu OS system is. So we're now in a number of conversations with a number of different global organizations that are looking at Hedera and saying, right, actually, guys, you've built all of this. We can get this proof of concept up very, very quickly, using what you have right now. And I think that, but then you take it at, the next stage is, anybody should be able to use it. So the idea is really we're the technology infrastructure. Anybody who wants to publish a workflow should be able to publish that workflow. And where we're heading with that is to create a sort of app store, for want of a better term, for workflows. So if you have a workflow, you're an expert and you want to publish a workflow, you can, if it's used, every time you use it it'll be registered and you will earn. So we'll be able to reward you in Dovu tokens every time your workflow is used by someone else. So you can create a sort of a system there that we're really excited about. So if you're an expert on anything, then just basically come to us, use our system, publish that workflow, and then allow that workflow to be used by anybody else, and with a full knowledge that you're going to get paid something every time it does get used. So I think that's an exciting element of how real world assets are sort of evolving very quickly.
Awesome. I take two concepts. One, you repeated the word quickly. You can jump quickly. So for a global institution, time is money. So excellent concept. And the other one is thank you for putting those words for the general community to understand in practical ways what you can achieve with this technology. Because sometimes those who are not techies feel so far away. So for technology and the practical ways that, as Limon said, I read an article in 2021, I think that was February, that this technology will impact all of our social dynamics. So I have that concept in mind, and I take it with me always. So thank you very much, Irfan. We'll come back with some community questions, and at the end we're going to open the link for everyone. But thank you for that exposition. Thanks. And we can go with Bonzo Finance to understand what they are doing in the DeFi and contributing in our ecosystem. And also happy to have you here, Gauran. I didn't met you before. Nice to meet you. Nice to talking with you. And so, what is Bonzo Finance? What are you doing? I know a lot about Brady because as a community member, I follow him a lot. So happy to learn from you. What are you doing?
Yes. Amazing. Yeah. Thanks for having me here. Hi, I'm Gaurang, and I'm the CTO and co-founder of Bonzo Finance. So we started working on Bonzo Finance exactly 1 year ago in April last year. And within 6 months, we launched the protocol. So for those of you who don't know, Bonzo Finance is a lending and borrowing protocol on Hedera. And it is a fork of Aave V2. So I have a few slides to show today, which will help you understand better what Bonzo does. So Louis, if you can help me with the slides. Great. Yes, so as I said, Bonzo is a fork of Aave V2, and we launched on Hedera in Q4 last year. So in the beginning, we launched with only lending side of the things, and then we enabled borrowing. So yeah, we have gone through audits, like not just one but multiple audits. So every time we make any change with the smart contracts, every time we add like a new feature, we go through an audit with Helbon. So we have had like almost 5 or 6 audits until now. We have a great team at Bonzo. So Brady and we are the co-founders. Brady, as a lot of you might know, used to work at Swirls Labs, which is Hashgraph now. And he was the technical, he was in the product marketing side there. And before joining Swirls Labs, he used to work at Cloudflare and DataStax. And myself, I've been working in the blockchain space for more than 8 years. So I come to the Hedera space from the Ethereum space. So I started writing smart contracts on Ethereum in like 2016, 2017. So it's been like 8-9 years now. And before that, I used to work in fintech startups and AI startups before that. Along with the two of us, we have some amazing developers, Khemraj and Nikhil, who are working on the back end and front end. We have Renly, who works in the marketing side of things. And we also have Caleb, who works on the financial and risk modeling of things. Along with that, we have some amazing advisors like Don, Matt from Dovu, and Brian Gentile. Anyway, so I won't be going through all the slides. I just want to kind of help you understand what Bonzo is and what we have, what we're going to do in the future. So as you know, Bonzo Finance, the mission of Bonzo Finance is to become the liquidity layer of Hedera. In DeFi, the term TVL, which is total value locked or liquidity, is very important. And we are really proud that we have been able to contribute to the overall liquidity of Hedera. And if you look at the metrics on DeFi Llama, Bonzo is the third largest protocol on Hedera right now. So the biggest one obviously is Trader Labs for HBARX. Second is Saucer Swap, and third is Bonzo. What does Bonzo do? So Bonzo at core is a lending and borrowing protocol. So Bonzo Lend is the product that's live right now. If you go to app.bonzo.finance, you can supply and borrow different assets on Bonzo. And we had to change Aave V2 for making it compatible with Hedera. So we have integrated with the HTS service. We have integrated with other HCS service as well. We are like tightly coupled with Hedera and all the amazing tech that it offers. And we have been supporting the main assets on Hedera like HBAR, HBARX, USDC, and also other ecosystem tokens like Dovu, Karate, Grelv, Kabila, Hashpack, Sauce, Exos, all these tokens. And we will be adding more assets as we go along. Along with lending, we are also focusing on something that is called as Bonzo Vaults. So as I mentioned earlier, we want to be the liquidity layer of Hedera. And when there's liquidity on a DeFi protocol, when there's liquidity in a DeFi ecosystem, what do people do with that, right? So let's take a simple example. You have $1,000 worth of HBAR. If you supply that on Bonzo, you will be able to borrow, let's say, up to $700 of USDC. Now, what do you do with this USDC? You can just keep it in your wallet, or you can try to get more yield on that. Again, none of this is financial advice. These are just some hypothetical scenarios. But what you can do is with your USDC, you can try to maximize your yield, and you can try to, let's say, supply that on Saucer Swap. Or when we launch Bonzo Vaults, you will be able to actually automate that yield. So Bonzo Vaults will be a fork of Beefy Finance, and with this fork, we'll be launching different strategies. And using these strategies and these vaults, you will be able to maximize your yield. So you might be able to do like leveraged positions. You might be able to do yield looping, or you might be able to just do like simple strategies, right? So you supply your USDC on Saucer Swap, and this Bonzo Vault will be able to harvest your rewards, let's say every 12 hours, every 24 hours. And that way, your yield will keep on compounding. So along with vaults, we'll also be integrating with Layer 0. And with Layer 0, we will try to bring more liquidity on Hedera. Because as you know, on any chain, having more liquidity is very important. And if we are able to bring more liquidity on Hedera, then I think all of us will benefit at the end of the day. And yeah, we'll be doing some rebranding of the Bonzo Finance website and app as well soon. So what we are focusing on is like a vertical expansion as well as horizontal expansion. So what I mean by that is we will keep on adding more features on Bonzo Finance. And at the same time, not immediately, but maybe end of this year or next year, we might be expanding to more chains as well. So that's the future vision with Bonzo. Now, if you look at the KP, the metrics on Bonzo, actually this is quite outdated. If you look at the TVL on Bonzo, currently we have around $45 million US dollars in TVL. That's the amount of tokens and assets locked on Bonzo. And if you look at that TVL in HBAR terms, again, this is quite outdated. We have 241 million HBAR locked on Bonzo in terms of HBAR, which is really amazing to see. And as I said, we are like the third largest protocol on Hedera. And at the same time, we don't just have assets locked on Bonzo. We are also making a lot of revenue for the protocol, for the suppliers, and for the Hedera network as well. And again, we are very proud to say that Bonzo is one of the highest revenue generators for Hedera as a chain. We are one of the biggest ones after Saucer Swap. Yeah, we also have a Bonzo token which we launched a couple of months ago, and the token is also doing well. So yeah, that's it for now. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Awesome work. I have a lot of questions, but we have to narrow it. So we have in the community and the ecosystem, we know the importance of DeFi, you know, what you are building in terms of DeFi and RWA. How do you think, which role do you think that DeFi real world asset tokenization will play in the growth of our ecosystem? And do you actually consider that these are key factors that we need to focus on? I saw one of the first comments, not question, but comments of the community was in this line. And if these are key factors, are any other key factors that we need to, as a community, as a network, address to the network expansion and adoption in the coming years? It's an open question. You can lead the mic and then we can hear from.
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. I think RWA is one of the most important things for DeFi and Hedera as a whole. And actually, that's pretty interesting that you asked the question. So there's a website called usdc.cool. So if you go to usdc.cool and if you look at the Hedera TVL, so the amount of USDC on Hedera has been increasing exponentially. So right now, there is 131 million USDC issued on Hedera, which is crazy if you think about it. And the increase is 60% in the last month. So if you look at the numbers, more than 50 million USDC has been issued just in the last month. That's very interesting. And I think this trend needs to keep growing, because for the DeFi ecosystem on Hedera to keep growing, for Bonzo and Saucer Swap and other protocols like HBAR Suite to keep growing, the liquidity has to keep coming. We need to grow the whole pie, and only then the individual protocols will benefit from that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, from our side, from Dovu's side, you know, we've never been fixated on any one sort of strategy when it comes to protocol. Hedera does a great job for us, and we are committed to building on Hedera. However, you know, you need to bring in liquidity from other chains. You need to be connected. You need to be building on layer 0 or you know, I believe in a way the future has to be where your customers are, rather than the friction of trying to get your customers to come to you, you know. And I think that when you're building that interface, the user experience, you know, going back to what I was saying earlier, our customers shouldn't care about the technology that sits under whatever service you offer, you know. So it's our job to make it as seamless as possible, and I think all of that will help the system. And I'm seeing a lot of noise coming about EVMs from Hedera at the moment anyway. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves.
Awesome insight.
Luis? I would like to add a point here. The fact that we are in a world where different people are, we are always struggling with, this is my network, this is my network, this is my network, and everybody talks about their network. we need to talk about Web3. The space needs to grow. We need more adopters. Regular people need to adopt it. So we really need to be where our customers are or where our demands. And of course, Hedera, it's a base that we can start working with, but we need to connect with others. We need to go to connect Hedera with other networks. And I think it's very important to grow the pie. We need a bigger pie. And this pie, it's where the money is. So we need this. And I think Hedera is very well prepared for this because it's easier to do things in Hedera. It's cheaper to do things in Hedera. And no innovation, zero innovation will succeed without a pain. We need to solve pains. We need to solve where is the pain? Like HbarSuite Corp. Now we just to a brief comment. HbarSuite was born since HBAR, the original name of HbarSuite, and so we split in two: a community and a corporation side. So now we are launching the corporate side, and with this we are going to enterprises. We're going to a lot of places different from the community, but we are going where our customers, where the pain is. What is the pain? Where is suffering? And then we go with the solution for this. The solution will be with connected, interconnecting, and like Lemon said, everything will be tokenized, and everything is everywhere. We need to go everywhere.
Yes, sure. You talk about a lot of things that I have 3 or 4 questions at least, but well, let's keep it with the first one. So, Irfan said we need to, consumer doesn't need to understand which technology or which network is behind. No, when you use your cell phone, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this is your point. Is if you use internet, you know how the protocol behind. Maybe someone knows, but the retail people, the end user, doesn't understand. It uses it, and that's what we are aiming to do for Web3, no? For Hedera, doing seamless the onboard of people and the creation of different products. So one thing that Gaurav mentioned is we are seeing a lot of adoption in terms of DeFi and the growth of USDC. USDC, I think, is 99.996, I think, of the whole stable coins in our ecosystem. And on December, they had 20 millions, and now 131, as you said. So do you think that we need to work around that, or is this growth of the stablecoins is going to be driven by the growth of the different applications, and what is doing Bonzo Finance, or what you are doing, or we need to push I want to advise on the May 20th, we are going to have a space with Gensio Media, and one of the guest speakers is David Andreas, the CEO of Just Finance. He was behind the PHPX stablecoin in Philippines, along with a lot of banks. He's working with that and doing a great work. So I think it's a bit of both, no? Driving adoption, we are going to make companies like Circle still minting a lot of USDC, native USDC, but do we need to bring a lot players to mint stable coins? It's a question, and the other one is regarding what Luis said. They have split it in corporate and for more, I think so, end user, retail users. So we are a network that we can provide both of this world, no? Both sides of the world, the product for the enterprise institutions, and also for product for the retail. No, what do you think about? I know it's a lot of things, but please feel free to jump.
I'll still, if you don't mind, I'll talk about my experience in having a launched token on Hedera for quite some time. So it used to be every time that I talked to Hedera, in various guises, they didn't want to know about the token because regulation, SEC, everything else. So the token was like, even though it was a HTS token, that really wasn't something that they wanted to get involved in, and they certainly wouldn't retweet anything that involved anything to do with the token and so on. So retail was just missed, for that reason. I believe it is a regulatory reason. It's a U.S. company, U.S. citizens. They don't look good in orange. So so from that aspect of it, and the governing council sort of took Hedera down another path. I think that what we're seeing is a change. What we're seeing, I'm seeing it on the ground now. We're launching a new project called Amplify World, which is a music project. It's a retail project. We're going to do a big token event, and now we're engaging with Hedera around that. We're engaging around the retail aspect of it, where we're able to there isn't that fear that was happening sort of even 6 months ago. So I think more should be done, frankly. More marketing should be done. We should be more aggressive. I think as a foundation, the foundation should, and the Hedera should. But we also, as project owners, we need to be more aggressive. We build some really bloody great stuff here, and we're sort of very shy about telling the world about it. It's crazy, We need to be more, sort of bullish about our own achievements. You try and launch a coin, launch a token within the Hedera ecosystem, and if you say, look, I want to launch it with 100 million market cap, it's like, oh no,
that's
too much. The system can't handle that. You need to do it. And I go, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you limiting your ambition to the Hedera ecosystem, and you've got to limit your ambition to the size of the project that you're launching, not the platform that you're launching on. So that's my rant about about why at the moment it's there's these two areas of retail and sort of enterprise, and it's really difficult to sort of bridge the two, but I think we're seeing a lot of progress sort of happening there, and we do need more stable coins launching on Hedera, that's for sure.
Just to add to that, Irfan, again, just want to plug here, retail pays the bill. We all have been saying that for a while now. Again, I am based in Dubai, and we had Token 2049 in Dubai last week. And we had a lot of people from Hedera, HBAR Foundation, World Labs coming here. We had the chance to interact with them, meet with them. And I would say, Irfan, the focus is actually shifting. We can see the vibes change. I can't point to anything tangible as such. There might be some tangible things, but again, just the vibes are changing, just the attitude is changing, and retail is being prioritized, definitely.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And coming back to your first question, Parveen, USDC is definitely the biggest stable coin on Hedera. But yeah, we need more stable coins. And not just stable coins, we need a lot of other assets as well. As Louis was mentioning earlier, we need to meet the customers where they are, right? So we shouldn't tell customers, let's say you're holding USDT or USDT 0 on Ethereum. If you want to come to Hedera, we should not tell them, hey guys, go and swap your USDT to USDC and then come to Hedera. What we need to enable is we need to enable more stable coins. We need to enable other big assets, and we need to enable the bridging capabilities so that they can get those assets on Hedera. So I don't think technology is the only limiting factor. I think the limiting factor is also this friction for people, right? Let's say you are a whale, you have 10 million, 20 million, 30 million USDT. You're not going to swap that to USDC just to come to Hedera. If you give them a pathway to bring those tokens to Hedera, then they will come. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Yes, I'm maybe I'm biased, but I'm super confident that I saw your project born in this because I'm here since 2020. I saw Dovu when it was in Ethereum, and then migrating to Hedera, and then HBAR Suite. We were discussing that before starting this call, and then I follow Brady and his idea. And the first time I created my account on Hedera, I had to send an email. Now I don't know if it was my HBAR wallet. It was like you need to use maybe a user and then have the access. So if I see what we have been building, the entire ecosystem, because you as I said, I saw your project board. I saw the excellence that you brought to our ecosystem. So I'm truly confident that this project, what you have been talking about in this call, is going to drive, of course, the growth, the adoption, and bring a lot of stablecoins on the board. So maybe I'm biased. Sorry, but I'm fully confident about that. So we need to understand what our issues. We always need to improve, to be more aggressive, as Irfan said. So let's do it. And I don't know if anyone wants to add or to jump up, to say anything. I'm going to review the comments of the community. To let's go on that. We have 10 minutes more of this call.
Well, I'm always happy to talk. So you just have to say shut up to me, and I won't take it personally at all. I'm really proud to be part of this community, and I think the like I say, it's when I share my frustration, it's in a positive way. I hope is that because I think we I'll give an example of some of the great technology. I mean, we're launching this music project because our musicians want to earn more money. They don't earn enough money. So we can launch an NFT on Hedera where the royalties are baked into the NFT. So that musician will always earn royalties from that NFT, whereas you look at sort of what's happened in the other ecosystems where they've ripped that out, which has defeated the whole business model, commercially, of why I should create an NFT. So I've got residual revenue from it as it sort of moves one from another. That's just a simple thing. But actually the bit that really excites me, when we talk about onboarding users, it's going to be robots. We're talking about crypto. We're talking about post-web. We're talking about an era where actually the engagement is going to be, everything will be tokenized, and it's going to be AI engaging, with other AIs, within your sort of platform. And Hedera is the best infrastructure to facilitate that, I think, with the best economic model to make that happen. So actually, I think that humans we're just the guinea pigs in crypto for what actually is going to be happening, and the sort of robots will be using crypto. We're just the test pilots, and just messing around like amateurs. And I think the Hedera ecosystem, I think, is just going to be just a fantastic system and protocol, for what's coming. That's what I'm excited about.
Awesome, Irfan, thank you. We don't have much question, but I want to put this one. He's agree 100% with Warang. Meet the customers where they are. Is the foundation agreement to put up the money to facilitate this? That's the question. This is something we've seen a lot in the community. As I said, I'm part of the community. I understand the point. Today we have this new rebranding on the new era. On December we had the new leadership on the foundation with Charles Atkins, and I can say within our ecosystem, and within these organizations, he is truly pushing a lot harder. So yes, I think so. I'm part of HashBar, but I can say that yes, of course, Hedera Foundation is pushing and is eager to do that. I don't know if you want to add something,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Elise.
I would like. I don't know. It's very. It's a little bit forbidden to talk about VCs and things like that inside the ecosystem. But good or bad, they bring money, and money flows inside the community. So in Hedera, it's very short in the opportunities or VC opportunities. We're always focused on HBAR Foundation, Hedera Foundation, sorry. So I think it's very good. It's necessary. It's a pillar, but VCs will come when you have a large community. So retail is important because it's bring VCs to the ecosystem and makes the money flow. So when we talk about enterprise, okay, it's very good. It's important. It's we are working in enterprise side. It's part of the business, and very important part of business. But we need to make the money flow inside the ecosystem. We saw the NFT market in Hedera. They have a peak. Okay, it's a broad. The whole ecosystem is suffering, but seems that in Hedera it suffers more because you don't have a lot of money flowing. We need this money flowing. And what brings VCs to this ecosystem? Retail brings it, because we make this money flow here. So sometimes it's a little bit more. It's like the liability problem that we talk about VCs is a little bit forbidden, but it's important to discuss it. We need to bring VCs, strong VCs, to the Hedera ecosystem.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is completely right, Luis. We definitely need VCs, and I think retail is going to drive that. But I think right now the problem is it's like a chicken and egg situation, right? So the ecosystem is not big enough for the big VCs, right? But at the same time, it won't grow big until we have big VCs. So it's a chicken and egg situation. But I think what will, as you said very rightly, retail will drive the TVL. Retail will get more money in. And I think that will start attracting bigger investors and bigger VCs. Right now, we have some angel investors, some small VCs, but yeah, what we need is the big bucks to flow in, definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's essential that we get that, and it'll only happen when we can connect to different liquidity pools, because VCs just want a liquidity. They don't care. Actually, in the main, a lot of them don't care about the projects.
Yeah, don't care.
They just want to know what's your market cap, what's your trading volume every day. Can I get out when I want to? What's the spread on your market maker? All of those things that they're interested in. Oh, and by the way, what project you're on? Yeah, so it's. Not all of them are like that. Some of them are fantastic, of course, but all of those types are still needed, to create that sort of to create a healthy ecosystem. And as you both quite rightly say, it's that it's volume, liquidity. I won't even call it community. It's liquidity and volume. That's the bit that we need. Yeah. We need to connect to others, because it's not going to come anytime soon organically.
Yeah, just one last thing, Irfan, to put some numbers into perspective on what you said. So as you said, like you cannot launch $100 million token on Hedera right now. And I think that's one of the biggest things that VCs want, right? When VCs invest in a project, they want to see that return. They want to see that, 10x, 20x, 100x sometimes, right? 10x is actually nothing for VCs sometimes. And I think when tokens on Hedera can actually grow to that level. So the top tokens on Hedera, like some of the best projects like Bonzo, Dovu, HBAR Suite, we are in like only a few $1 million in market cap, right? None of us are at 100 million market cap. And I think when that happens, when the ecosystem as a whole grows to that level, we will get VCs. It's not just like when the ecosystem grows, but I think VCs need to smell that. VCs need to see that trajectory going upwards, and then they'll come, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's so tightly linked right now with the performance of HBAR. When you see HBAR sort of explode, then anybody, we all our tokens go up, as a result of HBAR going up. and it's what's very difficult when you're a project of our size is to get it to go up organically on your own, really. That isn't part of that sort of ecosystem. You can do it, and it can be done, and obviously all efforts are there to sort of do that. But it's a rising tide lifts all boats, and the tide for our ecosystem is the HBAR token. So we need HBAR to be top 5.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So we are all agreed that we have a solid foundation, the solid ground, and the technology, the infra, and this is something, listen to you, about focus and bring liquidity and orienting what we have and what we have created, or do we need something else in terms of infra or tools, etc.? What do you think? And we have a few more minutes, but I wanted to ask that. And we have one question for Irfan, sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, come on. Then we have one question.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, so I think, as you said, all the pieces are there, but I think everyone needs to start moving in the same direction. As I said, I think we are getting there as an ecosystem, as a community, but I think there needs to be a solid messaging. There needs to be the same kind of focus. So yeah, I think that focus is very important. We have all the pieces. We have everything right now. We just need to start moving in that direction. Yeah.
Okay, yes, I think it's also that. So, well, Irfan, we have one question from the community. Please address it if you want, but I wanted to bring it up. Question: for Irfan, sorry if I missed it. Did you talk about the largest deal you said? And I don't know if you can talk about this. But...
Yeah, so I say we just agreed terms on it after talking for a couple of years. It's a soil-based project, environmental project. In the USA and across Australia, it's millions of acres, and it's a long-term project. We have the sole rights to all of the credits that have been created across this project, and and it's the tens of millions of dollars worth of assets that are coming our way. So we're really excited about that. I may not sound it, but it's just how I am. I've been encrypted for so long that I have the same level of voice between like, oh shit, everything's going bad, or oh great, everything's just sort of doing really well. I've leveled myself out over the years, but we are really excited by that. So what that means is for Dovu OS is that every credit that's put on our system has to get paid for in Dovu tokens. So, there is a direct correlation between, the utility of our token to the business of minting credits. And that's all part of the great work that Matt and his team have been doing behind the scenes.
Awesome. Well, we are running out of time. But thank you for the patience. First time doing this, so I try to do my best. Happy to have you, all of you here. Happy to hear from you. What are you doing? How are you contributing to not only our ecosystem? You are changing our lives. So we can, in 20 years, we are going to see. We sit back and say what we are doing. We are changing the world. I think so. No, so thank you for all of the audience that come here that share with us this moment. We are going to share then the link to the record and we are going to share it within our ecosystem. This is a super interesting conversation and discussion for me. And I think that today's session was more than not only at the updates regarding this awesome project, but also a window to the new Hedera era. And I feel it this way. We talk about what we need to do from now to the future. So I'm fully committed with that. I'm going to do talking about me to help you in my role or what I can do to help you, help people, help the community to provide this solution that you have created, have built it. And please, to everyone that tuned us, follow these projects. Check out the blog of Hedera, the new era of Hedera that we posted some hours ago. And friends, thanks for being here, and let's keep building. Thank you very much for all, and we'll keep in touch.
Thanks, guys.